Hey, I'm Joshua Hamlin. I am here in small town USA. I'm at a park. I had to tuck back into this apartment building because the wind is blowing so strong that you couldn't hear me talk before. But what we're going to do today is winter foraging. I'm at a park, just like a million other parks, just like a park in your town. It's the normal old park, trees, grass. Back here we got a woodlot, small little forest. And that's our best bet for looking for food, but there's plenty of food right here in the grass. And that's what I'm going to show you now, and then we're going to walk over to the woodlot and see what kind of stuff we can forage in there. So stay with us. Alright, we're in a little small section of the park, right here behind this bench. Let's see what kind of plants we got back here that we could harvest. Right here we got speedwell. I don't know of any uses for it. It's not really an edible. So we'll skip that one. Right next to it though is Carolina geranium, and that's edible. It's not a favorite for sure. It's a bitter plant. You can make it more edible by boiling it in a couple waters, but it's not one of my favorites for sure. This plant we got here is henbit. Henbit is a type of mint that has no menthol, and it is edible. It's plain, you know, it's kind of flavorless, but flavorless is good when you're looking for wild plants to eat, because anything that's not horrible is good to eat. What else we got around here? Clovers. There's lots of clovers. Clovers are everywhere. Plantain, narrow leaf plantain is good food. I like to make plantain soup, which is plantain leaves, a little bit of cream, water, butter, salt, pepper, and it has a sort of a mushroomy flavor, so it's like cream of mushroom soup. It's very delicious. That's plantain there. Here next to this picnic table we got some type of mustard. What type of mustard it is, I'm not sure, but all mustards are edible, so that's definitely an edible plant. Growing next to it is purple dead nettle, which is closely related to henbit. Henbit and purple dead nettle have the same qualities. They're both edible, they're both mints. They both have no taste, and they're good to add as food, give you vitamins and nutrition. Growing over here next to this is lots of chickweed. Chickweed is one of my favorites. It's very soothing. It's very soothing for wounds, to put on poison ivy and things like that, but I like to eat it. Speaking of putting on wounds, there's more Carolina geranium. More of it here. Geranium. Geranium, as I said before, is an edible food, but it's a really good blood stopper. So if you're bleeding, putting this on wound will clot the blood. Here's another big mustard. What type I'm not sure. Probably wintercress, but we'll have to wait for it to flower to know for sure. Another very common winter plant that I find in all kinds of yards and parks are these little wild onions, and they're very delicious. I mean, they're really good. Be careful though when you're picking wild onions that you don't get a look-alike, a deadly look-alike. One of the ways you can tell is by smelling. Onions smell like onions. I'm walking along this little woodlot here next to the park, and I come across this big giant hickory tree. Hickory tree means hickory nuts. If you look at the ground here, it is covered in the shells of nuts. Of course, this grass is mowed, so finding good nuts in this grass is not going to be easy, especially in late January when animals compete for the nutrients. But if we step off into the woods, we might find nuts that are still good. Might even find some right here. There we go. Here's a hickory nut. There's pretty good chances that there is nut meat inside of there. There's also good chances that something else found it, like insects, and have already eaten it out, or that it didn't grow right and that's why it's still here. But there's a pretty good chance that there's food inside of that if we crush it with a rock. Harvesting nuts is a good way to get fat. So if we were here just a couple months ago, we could have got enough food to last us for months just from this tree alone. All along this path, there are vines everywhere. Honeysuckle vines, like right here. Honeysuckles are not edible, but they do make great baskets. And there's also grapevines, like right here, growing all through here. Grapes are edible. Every part of the grape is edible, except for the woody stems. Unfortunately, this time of year, there's no leaves or grapes to be found on the plants. There are also loads of blackberries here. Of course, it's the wrong season for them, but we know where to come to find them when we need to, when the season gets right. Again, blackberries are edible, the leaves, the fruits, of course, and they're very good for you. They are full of antioxidants, the leaves and the fruits, especially the leaves though, and they make a good tea. The fruits, of course, give you sugars, delicious sugars. Back in here, I don't know if you can see, hanging from these vines back here are maypops. They're probably a little bit fermented because they've frozen and are starting to rot. But fermented maypops are still delicious, and hey, you might get a little buzz. Here in the grass are several thistles, and thistles are a good food source. The midrib is juicy and delicious. If you cook it, the spines will get soft enough to eat, or you can cut the spines off and the whole leaves are delicious. In the spring, when this shoot up stalks, those stalks are also delicious. I see growing right next to it here is a little dandelion. I don't consider dandelions a food. I know most people do. They're so bitter though, and they're so nasty that I don't eat them. But I do use them as a medicine for detoxing, and they're very good for detoxing your body, especially your liver. Here's a pretty little plant to find in the winter. This is bittersweet. I'm sure there are medicinal uses for it. I don't know what they are though. It's not considered an edible though. There are several plants here that are edible in their season, but it's not their season right now. Like these are sumac trees, and when they have sumac berries on them, the berries are very delicious. Of course, it's winter now, so they're not. This here is elderberry. Elderberry has also got edible flowers and berries on it in its season. It's not season now though, so no luck for that. Also, the leaves of elderberry are good for insecticides, so you can rub them on your skin to keep insects off of you. Otherwise, the entire plant is poisonous except for the berries and the flowers. This yellow plant back here by this big water heater, I guess it is poke. Unfortunately, of course, it's not poke season, so poke is an edible when it's young, early in the spring, and the new growth on it is young, is edible. It's also poisonous, so you have to parboil it in a couple waters. Change the water a couple times before you can eat it. Otherwise, you're going to get some serious diarrhea. We're about to cut into the woods now. I'm just trying to show you the abundance of onions growing all around here. And we're going to head into the woods following this trail here and see what we can find inside. These woods are just full of ground ivy. Some people call it creeping Charlie. Some people call it gill over the ground. I call it ground ivy usually. Ground ivy is spicy, not hot, but got spicy flavor to it, and it's really delicious. It's really good to add to lots of other foods, and it grows in abundance. I mean, everywhere I look, I see it. Look what I just found here, a reishi mushroom, which is a medicinal mushroom that goes for big bucks in the Orient. It was one of the first plants ever written about. I'm sorry, one of the first mushrooms ever written about. Thousands of years ago, it was believed that this mushroom here, if you drank a cup of tea every day, that you would live forever. It's worth a try. This thorny thing right here is roses. Of course, there's no roses on it, but roses are edible. But there are young leaves on it just starting to pop up, and those are also edible. And they make a good tea with lots of the benefits that blackberry have. Antioxidant benefits and tastiness. This bush here, this big bushy plant right here with the purple berries all over it, is privet. Now privet is not edible. However, it does have some uses. In the center of the clumps are straight skinny sticks that make great arrows. So even though it's not a food itself, it can help you get food by providing you with arrows to hunt with. This is an animal trail, and I see tracks right here. Those are definitely armadillo tracks. I don't know what that track is. That's not an armadillo. So this is a trail that's used by more than one thing. Notice that area is just full of onions. Might be why the trail is there. Now we're walking out of the woods area into a little field area. A non-mowed field behind this park. You can see there's houses around. And let's go see what we can find in the non-mowed field. In this field here, there are trees popping up everywhere. These trees are all hedge or Osage orange, hedge apple. Hedge is a very good bow wood, the best bow wood in my opinion. Now I know people that cook the fruit and eat the fruit of hedge apple, of Osage orange, and they say that makes it edible. I believe them, and I'm going to try it, but I haven't yet, so I cannot in good conscience recommend that you eat the fruits of this until I do more research on the subject. But I heard that boiling the fruits for 20 minutes or so and pouring off the water makes them edible, and I'm going to try it. The people that I know that swear to this are very learned people, you know, with lots of plant knowledge, so I do trust their opinion. On the ground here is curly dock popping up. Young curly dock. Also, of course, onions. Onions are all over out here. There's also some vetch. But curly dock is a delicious edible plant, and I eat a lot of it. It's a little bit bitter if you let it get old, but when it's young like this, it's perfect. Just boil it up and eat it. If it gets old and it starts getting bitter, boiling it in 2 waters helps get rid of the bitterness. Also out here is plenty of this. If you can see the stem, it has purple on it. This is poison hemlock. This is a deadly plant. One bite could kill you, and it's often mistaken for wild carrot. It is not wild carrot. This will kill you dead. And it is all over out here in huge abundance. Tons and tons and tons of it. So be careful out there. Here's another very distinguished animal trail going into there. I can't make out what the tracks are, but that would definitely be a good place to put a snare right back there, right where this enters into there, and there's thorns on all sides, some natural fencing to fence that area in. That would be a great place to put a snare, hanging from that hedge tree right there onto that path. I just come across this, and lots of them. This is a perilla, Korean mint. It's very delicious. Unfortunately, it's gone this time of year. There's still some menthol in the stems though, and they still smell very strongly, which means you could still make tea out of it. It wouldn't be a strong tea, but it would still be a tasty tea. This little beauty here, and all around us, is one of my favorite winter forages. This is bittercress. Bittercress is delicious. I love the taste of it, and I eat it every chance I get. My kids even love it, so they're finicky and they love it. Bittercress is delicious, and it is all over in these woods. It is a winter plant, and this is the time to find it. This is late January, and like I said, it's everywhere. It's important to mention that all the plants that we've talked about so far, that I've showed you 1 or 2 examples of, we have seen hundreds of them. There is no scarcity. There's not 1 or 2 of these plants scattered about, but there are thousands of them scattered everywhere. Onions, dock, purple dead nettle, chickweed. We're passing thousands of all these plants that we covered. So I want to make sure that you realize I'm not coming across 1 or 2 every so often. I'm coming across thousands and thousands. There is no scarcity of food. So we have not gone very far. This is the little wood lot that we were walking through. This is the field that we just walked through, full of the hedge. These are the apartments over here. The park is right on the other side of this little wood lot here. We haven't walked very far, and we have found tons of food. Everybody is surrounded by an abundance of food. Unless maybe you're in the Arctic or something, there is food around you. You just got to know how to find it. All right, if you'd like to learn more about foraging, learn more about the plants in your area, then check us out at dovemountainprimitiveskills.com. Come take a class with us and we'll teach you everything we can. Also, a service that I offer is I will come to your property and teach you about the plants that are on your own property if you want to. That's on our schedule. So dovemountainprimitiveskills.com. Check us out. Thanks for watching.